Welcome to this brand new series on balancing the wounded masculine and feminine. Be sure to subscribe so that you can get the whole series. And just to make sure, just in case YouTube doesn't put the classes in front of you, you can go to melissawest.com/balance and get a beautiful infographic cheat sheet that will show you the balanced masculine feminine. And then we'll also email you each time we release a class in this series so you don't miss any of them. For today's class, you're going to need a bolster and a wall. And just to let you know that this is like the most basic form of five-element theory. Five-element theory comes out of the yin and the yang, so two become five. So the yin and the yang, the yin is the feminine, the yang is the masculine. And then you might wonder, why am I telling you this? Because I'm probably like inches away from releasing my book on five-element yin yoga. So if you're wondering why I'm bringing out a whole new series on the masculine and feminine right now, because that is like the most basic form of five-element theory, the yin and the yang, masculine and feminine. So we're not going off course, we're staying on course. And if you're looking forward to my book, you might want to go to melissawest.com/book and make sure you're signed up there so you can know exactly when it's released and hear everything about that as well. So let's start with legs up the wall. We're going to be in legs up the wall for 5 minutes. If you don't have a wall, you can always use a couch, or the back of a door is always good as well. If you have back pain, a couch is good because you can keep your knees bent, or a chair, that works well also. So just put your hips right against the wall, swing your legs around, and you'll bring your legs up the wall. We're going to be here for 5 minutes, just so you have an idea of how long you're going to be here. You can also get yourself more settled with other props as well. You might want to put a blanket over your legs if it's chilly where you are. Even an eye pillow over your eyes can be nice. And then just let yourself settle in and be received by the earth, particularly here through the torso. I always love how supportive it feels through the torso here. Allowing yourself to arrive and be supported. So regardless of our gender, we all have the masculine and feminine energies within us. The masculine and feminine energies within us create polarity. And when they are in balance and harmony, we feel better. Throughout this series, we will bring the unhealthy and wounded aspects of our masculine and feminine series out of the shadows. The wounded masculine and feminine from our ego, fear, and darkness cause us to suffer. And when we bring the light of awareness to the shadow sides of our masculine and feminine wounding, we can heal and transform into healthy and divine energy. So as I said at the beginning, if you'd like an infographic of the balanced masculine and feminine energy, you just have to go to melissawest.com/balance and we'll send that to you. So today we're focusing on our inner masculine. And when that's out of balance, it's the wounded masculine is withdrawn, avoidant, and unstable. We experience the wounded masculine when we are disconnected from our feelings, abandoning ourselves, when we are stressed, anxious, depressed, and dysregulated. And when we heal our inner divine masculine, we are fully present for ourselves. When we heal our inner divine masculine, we are fully present for ourselves, no matter what is happening in our lives. With our non-abandoning attention, with our loving kindness, and without judgment. When our inner masculine is balanced, we become our own biggest supporters. We protect our physical, mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual bodies. We are literally devoted to their well-being. Our inner divine masculine offers us stability and security, the stability and security that we have been longing for. So restorative yoga is the perfect yoga to activate your divine inner masculine because your body is fully supported by props, the ground, and the wall. So just take some time to feel the support right now and allow yourself to really be presenced by the support, because this is your divine masculine here. So allow yourself to breathe. Continue to feel the support of the earth, of the wall, the inner support that you've given yourself by taking the time for this restorative yoga class. And then you can just gently bend your knees if they're not already bent. Take your time to roll to your side. Pause here for a moment. And then we'll come for our next restorative pose, which will be child's pose, which you can do either here where your mat is, but I'm going to just move my mat to a better position for you guys. You might want to use a bolster for child's pose. If child's pose doesn't work well in your body because of your knees and ankles, you could always leave that mat against the wall and have knees to chest with your feet against the wall. That can be a really nice version of it. You're just doing the same thing on your back. Okay, you're going to be in this pose for 5 minutes, just so you know how long to expect to be here. The wounded masculine avoids connection and tends to be distant. So remember that we all have the masculine and feminine within us. So this includes avoiding our own inner connection and being distant with ourselves, so abandoning ourselves. So when we bring awareness to the aspect of ourselves that abandons the part of ourselves that is suffering the most and in the need of most love, we can heal and restore our inner masculine to its divinity. Then the inner masculine is deeply present and listens without being distracted. The inner masculine doesn't judge and creates a safe environment in which our bodies, minds, emotions, energies, and spirits feel safe to open. So through our restorative yoga, we can create these conditions for our body to be deeply present. We can be deeply present to our bodies. We can listen without distraction and create this safe and receptive environment for ourselves. Okay, so you're going to slowly release this pose from your body. Okay, so our next pose is going to be supported bridge pose. So you can take your bolster and turn it lengthwise on your mat. And then all you're going to do is sit down on it so that your pelvis is on it, and lie down. You're going to be here for 5 minutes. You could have your hands on your belly. You could have your arms overhead in cactus arms or straight overhead, whatever feels best for you in your body. So the wounded masculine and our inner wounded masculine is disconnected from their emotions. When we're in our wounded masculine, we are taught to soldier on, to do more, to achieve more, and to always be focused on our goals and success. And this kind of environment ignores emotional well-being and emotional suffering. And when the divine inner masculine comes online with his presence, we can sense an inner listening. So restorative yoga is grounding and allows us to feel so supportive. We can be there for ourselves without distraction. So this creates a supportive and encouraging inner environment for our emotional expression to come online. Okay, so let's just take a moment before we move on to our next restorative yoga pose to give our back a little break. Draw your knees into your chest. So for your next restorative yoga pose, we're just going to expand this one. You're going to take your legs, instead of having them bent, you're going to let them come out long, and then you're going to bring your arms overhead So it's not surprising that I did a yawn there, because it's a really deep psoas stretch. It gets right into your diaphragm. So then you might get that kind of vagal response where you yawn. Okay, so let yourself settle into this pose. Feel the opening across your hips, the release of your psoas, release of your diaphragm. This is a really nice pose to soften your breath, to relax your nervous system, to get into your vagus nerve. So our wounded masculine can be stuck in our mind, and our overall culture really privileges the mind over our body. The mind is a place where everything feels personal. In the mind, external success feels important at all costs. The mind needs to be right. The mind fears failure and is defensive. The mind is critical and judgmental. The mind is rigid and controlling. And when we become aware of the inner critic that comes from the mind and its controlling ways, awareness allows for adjustment and for the activation of the divine masculine. We can call on the qualities of groundedness, presence, support, and safety. Okay, so you're going to slowly release this pose from your body by drawing your arms in, slowly bending your knees. And let's, before we come out of this pose, bring the knees In again to the chest, just to release the low back. Okay, and then you can place your feet back on the floor. Press into your feet. Take your bolster out and place it on the left side of your mat. You're going to take your arms into a soft T. Press into your feet, lift your pelvis, take it over to the right side of your mat, and then lower your knees onto your bolster. And then you're going to be here for 5 minutes in this reclined twist. So give yourself a chance to just settle in, to feel the backs of your shoulders on the ground, to let your skull be heavy, to feel yourself fully supported by the ground and the props. I have a poem for you here. This poem embodied the inner masculine in touch with his emotions to me. It's called Christmas Eve by Ted Kooser. Now my father carries his old heart in its basket of ribs, like a child coming into the room with an injured bird. Our ages sit down with a table between them, eager to talk. Our common bones are wrapped in new robes. A common pulse tugs at the ropes in the backs of our hands. We are so much alike, we weep at the end of his stories. Now my father carries his old heart in its basket of ribs, like a child coming into the room with an injured bird. Our ages sit down with a table between them, eager to talk. Our common bones are wrapped in new robes. A common pulse tugs at the ropes in the backs of our hands. We are so much alike, and we both weep at the end of his stories. Okay, so bring your legs back to the center. Press into your feet. Let your hips untuck and just pause here for a moment. Let your spine unravel. And then you can take your bolster over to the other side of your body, over to the right side. And you can press into your feet again, lift your hips, take them over to the left side of your mat, and gently lower your legs onto the bolster on the right side now. And you're going to be on this side for 5 minutes. And again, just pause here. Feel the bones settle into the earth. Feel the backs of your shoulder blades. Feel the opening of the chest at the front. Let your legs be heavy. Let your pelvis be heavy. So I have a poem for you about listening in silence. I chose this poem because I felt it embodied the inner masculine of presence, support, and listening. It's another poem by Ted Husser, who is a local poet where I live in Victoria, BC. It's called Visiting Mountains. The plains ignore us, but these mountains listen, an audience of thousands holding its breath in each rock. Climbing, we pick our way over the skulls of small talk. On the prairies below us, the grass leans this way and that in discussion. Words fly away like corn shucks over the fields. Here, lost in a mountain's attention, there's nothing to say. The plains ignore us, but these mountains listen, an audience of thousands holding its breath in each rock. Climbing, we pick our way over the skulls of small talk. On the prairies below us, the grass leans this way and that in discussion. Words fly away like corn shucks over the fields. Here, lost in a mountain's attention, there's nothing to say. Okay, so you're going to come back to the center. Press into your feet, untuck your hips. Pause here and just let your spine unravel. So you can rest here for Shavasana, or you can come back to legs up the wall for your final resting position. Okay, so let yourself settle in. Just notice if you're able to receive the support of the wall and the floor even a little bit more now at the end of the class than you were at the beginning. This poem is called To the Divine Masculine by T.D. Presley. Come stand by the river with me. Be present. Be still. Feel my trust, my love. My lack of fear. Won't you join me here? Peel back your ego and just brace yourself as you embrace your true self. Bathe, bask, begin again, acknowledge and absorb and ascend. I've been waiting for you, entrancing still that I first felt the pangs of lacking, something I was meant to have but wasn't having. Your love, your presence, only once the soul within stepped into this earth. Seeing now the aggressive angst I've been carrying for what it was truly worth, your love, your presence. I'm here growing, always knowing what awaits us both as a unit and as one. But for now, our true purpose has begun. Diving deep, I'm braving the beast, changing and rearranging, aligning, syncing myself with divine timing, all the while sending you everything you need to do the same. My love, my presence. Feel me, hear my words. Their echoing coo awakes you to what is truly at work. Let them excite you. Let them ignite you. Let them breathe life into that spark that I'd found burning so bright in your heart. I feel you and I know you, and I love you unconditionally. So come stand in the river with me, won't you? Be present, be still, feel. Slowly bend your knees. Roll to your side. Pause there for a moment. Continue to presence yourself. And slowly make your way up to a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me for this class for your inner divine masculine. Remember to subscribe to my channel to get the whole series. If you really want to make sure you get it, just in case YouTube doesn't put it in your feed, go to melissawest.com/balance, and then we'll send you a beautiful infographic for the balanced masculine feminine, and we'll be sure to send you the whole series as we release it. Thank you so much for liking this video, and put "my inner masculine is balanced" in the comments. And I will see you next week for the next class in the series. And I'm sending you so much love from beautiful British Columbia. May you be as rooted as our old growth trees. May you be as strong as our mountains. And may your joy be as deep as our oceans.